The chapter begins with Shunsui sitting quietly at the grave of Ukitake. Taking a sip from his drink, he remarks, "Looks like we might finally finish clearing everything up. Apparently, there's just one last district that needs its tiles laid, and then that'll be everything done for the moment. 10 years. It took quite some time, but I guess it's possible to recover from a massive disaster like that if you put your mind to it." A voice interrupts him, calling out, "Captain Commander, we're almost out of time. Please hurry." Shunsui sighs, standing up slowly. "Dear me, I don't think I'll ever get used to the bustle that comes with this job. Makes me appreciate just how incredible old Yamaji really was." He takes one last look at Ukitake's grave and says softly, "Well then, I'll see you around, Ukitake." As Shunsui leaves, a faint spiritual pressure rises from the ground near the grave, subtle yet unmistakable. Its origin remains unknown. The scene shifts to Captain Myori Lab. Myori observes his monitors and says, "Looks like West 55th District is finally going to be completed. They certainly took their time. Now I'll finally be able to extend my concealed network across all of the Soul Society." He rises and announces, "Now then, I should go conduct a field survey. Come along." His assistant, Nomuri 8, cheerfully responds, "Right away, Mayuri-sama." Mayuri sighs in exasperation, muttering, "You don't have to be so loud. Honestly, I do wonder why you had to turn out like this." Nomuri, with a cute tone, replies, "I'm very sorry, Mayuri-sama." The scene shifts again to Captain Kachi Zaraki. He's scowling as a group of subordinates eagerly congratulate him. "Good work out there, Captain Zaraki," one of them says. "Excellent work, Captain," another chimes in. Kenpachi glares at them, frustrated. "Shut it, you louts. I ain't done with the work yet. It's barely past midday." The group freezes in shock and immediately stammers, "Sorry, Captain." Ikaku steps forward and asks, "By the way, Captain, isn't the ceremony at the 1st Division quarters? Are you sure this is the right way?" Kenpachi grumbles, "What are you on about? It's the 13th Division in charge, so it's at their quarters, right?" Ikaku hesitates. No, Captain. It's at the 1st Division quarters." Another subordinate interjects, "I wouldn't know. I'm only the 3rd seat. You're supposed to keep track of these things." Kenpachi grumbles, "Now listen here, Ikaku. The only reason I used to get lost all the time was because of Yachiru. Now that she's not around, I always know exactly where I'm going." Without waiting for a response, Kenpachi runs off in a random direction, shouting, "If we're clear, then let's get moving, and hurry it up, you two." Meanwhile, Shinji notices them from a distance and sighs, "That's the 11th Division. Where the heck do they think they're off to now?" Hinamori, standing beside him, suggests, "Perhaps they're a little lost." Shinji scoffs. Folks who don't know where they're going don't usually move that fast. Hinamori, concerned, says, "I'll go and intercept them." Shinji waves her off dismissively. "Seriously, don't bother. We don't want to get caught up with them and end up late ourselves." Hinamori looks at him questioningly, but before she can speak, Shinji adds, "There ain't no buts about it. They're grown-ups. Let them take care of themselves. That's the captain's orders." Hinamori frowns. "Captain Hirako, you only ever use the captain's orders for pointless things, don't you?" Shinji smirks and replies, "I guess that shows the difference in priorities. I wouldn't call it pointless. I use it when I feel like it." The scene shifts to Captain Toshiro and Captain Iba. Toshiro remarks, "Straight from the training grounds? You certainly work hard, Captain Iba." Noticing Toshiro, Iba replies modestly, "Well, you know, I still don't feel like I'm really captain material. If I were to skip out on training, I don't think I'd be able to hold my head high in this job." Toshiro smiles and says, "I see. That's certainly a fine attitude. Perhaps that kind of spirit is exactly what one needs to truly be a captain. I can think of a few people who could benefit from following your example." With a thoughtful smile, Toshiro adds, "After all, it means the Soul Society has been peaceful for a whole decade, and I'd say today's ceremony will be a fine way to wrap up that decade of peace." The scene shifts to Soifon, who is shouting, "They're late! Where have they been?" Kenpachi casually steps forward, unfazed. "We just went on a run around the whole of Siraitai. I'd say we made it here pretty quick, all things considered." Soifon snaps back. Then let me ask you, why exactly did you feel the need to run around all of Siraitai on such an important day? Aizen steps in calmly, trying to diffuse the tension. Why don't we all just settle down and head inside, shall we? A little girl nearby comments, you could try to be a bit more forceful with them. You are a captain too, remember? But Aizen simply sweats nervously, unable to respond. Inside, the ceremony begins. Nanao, standing at the front, announces, now that everyone is present, we will begin the inauguration ceremony for the newest captain of the Gotei 13. The scene pans to reveal all the current captains standing in 2 rows, with the head captain standing solemnly at the center. Nanao continues, the new captain may enter. Renji smirks and says, wipe that strained look off your face already. Don't worry, if you stress out so much that you trip and twist your ankle, I'll give you a piggyback. Rukia glares at him and snaps, shut up, Renji! The doors open, and Kuchiki Rukia enters, wearing the uniform of a captain. She walks with poise and dignity, now officially the captain of the 13th Division. The scene shifts to the laboratory where Akan says, where did the captain go? It's the big day for the new captain's inauguration. Another scientist replies, I think he went to inspect the reconstruction district. Akan is visibly shocked. What? On such an important day? The other scientist shrugs and says, hey, you're his left hand. If you don't know, why should I? Akan sighs in frustration. What a pain. I guess I'll have to go fetch him then. As Akan checks the instruments, he notices something unusual. His expression shifts to concern as he says, wait a second. There's a strange reading coming up on the instrument. It looks very similar to yhwach's spiritual pressure from 10 years ago. The scene shifts to Kazui Kurosaki, the son of Ichigo, as he sneaks into a warehouse. Suddenly, Hayori bursts in, shouting, what the hell do you think you're doing over there, brat? How did you even get in here? She sighs and mutters, this kid sure knows how to pull a stunt. The scene transitions to Captain Byakuya Kuchiki, walking alongside a subordinate who reports, the spiritual pressure reading suspected to be a remnant of yhwach's power is coming from West Brick Street 55. It's near the final restoration area, right beside the Deviant 13 building. Suddenly, Captain Soifon appears and says, I assigned this task to you because it seems the captain of Deviant 13 already left after the ceremony. Byakuya replies calmly, that is fine. Rukia and the others are enjoying a well-earned break. There's no need to contact them. I will handle this. As they approach Captain Myori Kurotsuchi, Myori greets them with a smirk. How strange. I don't recall sharing any information with you people. Soifon responds sharply, don't underestimate the information network of the covert ops. Byakuya remarks, if you're here, I presume that the indicators or the information were accurate. Myori chuckles. Dear me, it won't be long before you see firsthand just how accurate it was. Then we see the remnant of yhwach's power, floating ominously in the air, its presence radiating a dark, foreboding energy. The scene shifts to Rukia and Renji standing outside a house. They ring the doorbell, and moments later, Ichigo opens the door with a smile. Rukia greets him, hello, Ichigo. Then, with a teasing smile, she adds, your place seems as unpopular as ever. Ichigo smirks and replies, that's a good thing for a clinic to be empty, isn't it? Now quit skulking around and come inside. You're the last ones to arrive. As they step inside, Rukia announces, I'm going to make some popcorn and other snacks so the posse can enjoy. While Rukia starts preparing, they notice a live broadcast on the computer screen showing Chad. Renji points at it and says, man, isn't Chad incredible? He's gone and become the most famous out of all of us. The scene shifts to a rooftop where someone is standing alone. From inside the house, voices can be heard. Where is Dr. Ishida? Someone replies, he's taking an extended lunch break up on the roof. From what I heard, he wanted to take the day off today but couldn't make it work. So he's taking a quick break now to watch this show he really wanted to watch with his friend. Another voice adds, well, isn't that sweet? Then Ichigo calls out to Orihime that show is about to start, so she must come. Inside the house, Ichigo questions, where's Kazui? Orihime reply comes, I think he's back upstairs now. From what Tsubaki-kun was saying, I think he dropped in on Iori-chan and the others just now. Suddenly, Ichigo remembers something and turns to Rukia and Renji. Come to think of it, weren't you guys saying you were going to bring your kids too? Rukia replies, Oh yes, she's finally become an official apprentice with the Gote. We were able to get a special pass just for the off-season. Come on in now. Rukia looks around for her daughter but then notices she's not there. She frowns and says to Ichigo, Well, it seems she's disappeared. Ichigo, concerned, asks, What? Rukia reassures him, Worry not, she's a Shinigami. No human would be able to harm her. Ichigo sighs and mutters, You kids who like to pick fights with random humans, go and find her already. The scene shifts to Kazui Kurosaki, who finds himself standing before the remnants of yhwach's power, ominously swirling around the ruins of the tower. As those remnants begin to attack him, several captains suddenly appear, shouting for Kazui to step back. However, they are too late. Before anyone can act, Kazui calmly reaches out, and with just the pressure of his hand, the remnants dissipate into nothingness. Everyone is left stunned. Captain Myori exclaims, What is this? The remnant of yhwach's power, it simply vanished? The scene transitions to Asen, who remains imprisoned in the depths of the Soul Society. He senses the change and speaks aloud. The last trace of yhwach's power has finally disappeared. Reflecting on the past, Asen remembers the moment Ichigo defeated yhwach and muses, The path has now closed, Ichigo. The path to a world without fear. The human world, Soul Society, Hueco Mundo, they were meant to belong together as one. Life and death should have mingled as one. But now, that path exists no longer. All thanks to you, Ichigo. How disappointing. A true life where death and life lose their form cannot exist. All living things will continue to live in fear of death for eternity. You walked a road that could have created a world devoid of fear. But in a world without fear, men could not confront death and seek hope. Certainly, they could keep walking forward by merely living. But that would be very different from walking onward while conquering their fears. And that is why we give the act of walking onward a special name. We call it courage. The scene shifts back to Kazui. As he looks around, he notices someone approaching and asks, Who's there? From the shadows emerges a small, confident girl. Pointing her sword, she introduces herself. My name is Ichika Abarai, Shinigami in training. Kazui smiles and replies, I'm Kazui Kurosaki, and I'm a Shinigami too. Ichika is shocked to hear this, and with this, the tale of Kurosaki Ichigo finally comes to an end. However, this is not the end of Bleach. There's still the Hell Chapter one-shot manga, where enemies trapped in hell make their return. But we'll cover that another time. Since it's not yet complete, who knows? Maybe Tybw will continue it, or maybe he won't. For now, if you'd like me to cover any other anime or iconic moments, let me know in the comments section. Don't forget to check out other videos on my channel, and as always, thanks for watching.